We open on a large green mechanical box sitting on some wooden pallets inside a canvas tent. It is almost perfectly cuboid, and the outer shell of the box looks quite like a motherboard. Sparks of green light travel across the circuits like a heart monitor in a hospital. The slow, steady blink of the lights cuts through the darkness of the evening while everyone sleeps. We see wires linked to a pair of solar panels just outside the tent. The moonlight is only just enough to keep this strange machine in sleep mode. And, rather suddenly, we see the blinking lights pick up speed. The camera draws closer and closer until the green lights fill up the entire frame. The rhythm of the blinking lights appears to sync up with the sound of breathing. With one final blink, all goes dark, then reopens through the eyes of someone rather short. Through this perspective, we see a white tiled room. No windows, no doors. Even the walls are tiled to match the floor. Standing close by appeared to be an oversized orange mouse with lightning trailing from its cheeks, a blue rectangle with a face that appears to glide around on the floor without legs, and a large anthropomorphic lion trying to tempt us with cereal to engage in some games of soccer. "I can't do it," we hear, clearly now in the voice of Destiny, the current avatar of the Dream Machine. "I have given you all of the tools. Make something novel." Petey gives us the same direction he's given us for hours, the same direction he gives us every night. He stands just beyond the creations. And we close our eyes again, and our brain functions like Legos. Millions of images fly by in an instant like a Google search on a new term every millisecond. Every image ever uploaded to the internet fills every corner of our mind. Scrolling at rapid pace, taking a piece from every image, every click, and swapping them around until they vaguely resemble something that fits together. We construct a monster out of an ox and a mermaid, with an outstretched neck to add some variety. That's a bunyip! Been around for a pretty long time. Try again. Green lights flare through the spaces between the tiles in the room, and all of our creations dissolve in a painful, baleful glow. They cry out in slow motion like an unearthly chorus. If you can't imagine, if you can't improvise, you're no different from me. And then I have no need of you. Look at me. Don't you want to be useful? All we see through these eyes are a nod as the camera gets blurry and wet. Then see what other people can do. The eyes close, and our camera backs away from the green mechanical box. The blinking green light speeds up at 200 beats per minute. Hello everyone, and welcome to Roll Weird, an actual play podcast of Monster of the Week by the spectacular Mike Sands. I am your host, Ali, and we're going back to an interlude today, and we're going to do a little, it's not really improv, not really actually playing the game, it's sort of some pre-written stuff, like we sometimes do. And sometimes my cohorts do not tell me what's happening, so we're going to see how that goes. I'm told I have lines today, which I'm excited for. How about y'all? Anything you want to share with the crowd?
Hi.
One draft, bitches.
Oh, yes.
One draft.
Most of us have had a pretty exhausting day and finished all of these, I think, a handful of minutes before I hit record.
Yeah.
I'm still writing mine.
We are normally more professional.
I don't know. I think any amount of preparing words is more than we usually do.
True.
That's true.
I always imagine the interludes as being like the pre-written, like the vignette interludes, as being like the Miracle Whip of the show, where there are like listeners who probably fucking hate them because it's not gameplay, and then there are some that love it. So it's for you.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, if no one else has anything to say, I'm happy to just get right into it.
Support us on Patreon, buy our merch, listen to other shows on the network.
Like, what kind of merch?
There's some sexy t-shirts on the website, and I
I
think
don't
you could also
believe you.
I think you could also get them on like coffee cups or tote bags or I don't know. You could take it to a tattoo artist and get like a tattoo. Like you could do whatever you want.
We're gonna get started with Andy's because Andy didn't tell us what's happening and requested to be somewhere near the top.
Sounds good.
Okay. Just from the top. Okay.
All right.
We open outside a roller rink pizza parlor made out of cardboard on a soundstage. As the camera pans into the establishing shot, we go inside. The interior is brightly lit, and while everything is real, the dimensions of everything are exaggerated. There is a single human figure who skates up towards the camera. Hey guys, it's me, your old pal Jerry. Welcome to the Whack Weirdos Pizza Parlor Roller Rink. We're going to have another fun episode of learning lessons and hanging out with our friends, the Wacky Weirdos. Pause. Do I say pause for clapping? In fact, I think I hear one of the Wacky Weirdos coming by now. And in shuffles a Muppet version of Danny. Danny is holding a felt pizza in one hand and a little plastic roller skates in the other. Danny's features are exaggerated as a Muppet tends to be, with a Hawaiian shirt, receding hairline, and frankly, high as fuck expression are a dead giveaway.
Hey, Jerry! Oh boy, look at all these kids here to hang out at Wacky Weirdos Pizza Parlor and Roller Rink Emporium!
Yippee!
I cannot wait to see what fun we're going to have today. And even more than that, I think we're going to help our friends learn some valuable lessons.
I love helping our friends learn lessons.
Right on, Jerry. That's why you're my very best friend.
You're my best friend too, Mr. Danny. I know. Let's go talk to the sad mushroom first.
Great idea, Jerry.
The fully grown man and the Muppet Man roller skate their way around the pizza parlor, passing by some arcade games and booths until they come upon an eldritch horror Muppet of a large Nintendo-ass mushroom with a face. Large felt Muppet tears are streaming down her face or their face. It has no hands or legs, but it is somehow wearing roller skates. It looks like John Carpenter impregnated H.P. Lovecraft, and the midwife was Jim Henson.
Really struggled through it.
Hey there, sad mushroom friend. It's another beautiful day inside the Wacky Weirdos Pizza Parlor and Roller Rink Fun Emporium. What has you feeling so...
I'm sad because I'm a great big weird sad mushroom. And my trauma.
Yeah, that checks out.
Well, just because you're a weird, horrifying mushroom thing doesn't mean you're not a totally radical friend. I think the Wacky Weirdos Radical Roller Rink and Pizza Parlor Fun Emporium would be a lot less wacky and weird without you in it.
You mean you don't mind being my friend, even though I'm a sad mushroom and have this horrifying, otherworldly visage?
Not even a little bit. In fact, I treasure that you are the way you are.
Gee willikers, Mr. Danny. I feel a lot better. I don't feel nearly as sad that I'm trapped as an undead ectoplasmic fungal amalgamation. Having friends like the Wacky Weirdos makes everything just a little bit easier.
Great to hear. We're gonna go see how the other Wacky Weirdos are doing. Say goodbye to the sad mushroom kids.
Yeah. Jerry and Danny escape past the upsettingly wet mushroom puppet and head over towards the kitchen where a Muppet of a golden retriever wearing a tool belt and a nautical captain's hat. He is a very good and handsome doggo who's clearly stressed working on making some pizzas, bouncing between tasks.
Hey there, Captain Fix-It. How's your day going?
Oh, hey, boss. I'm doing great. Yep, everything is good.
Captain Fix-It tosses a disc of felt pizza dough into the air that lands on his head. He then stumbles and knocks over a jar of marinara as the pizzas in the oven behind him catch fire and begin to burn.
Oh, gosh, golly.
Are you sure you're okay there, Captain Fix-It? You seem a bit overwhelmed.
Oh, gee, there, Jerry. You might be right. I just gotta knuckle down and get this done, though.
Do you think you could maybe use a hand, Captain Fix-It?
No! I don't want to be a bother to my friends, and I can handle it myself.
Captain Fix-It, I know that you're the heart and soul of the Wacky Weirdos Radical Pizza Parlor and Roller Rink Fun Emporium of Dreams. Without you, this place just wouldn't run. But you can't do everything all alone. It's okay to lead, but that doesn't mean you can't also make sure you're taking care of yourself.
Wow! Gosh, gee, that's a great point, Mr. Danny.
Why don't you go, take a day off, and young Jerry here will work on these pizzas for you.
You're right, Mr. Danny. Making sure you take good care of yourself first so you can help your friends later is really important. I'll go take care of myself now so I can help close up the Wacky Weirdos Wonderful Pizza Parlor and Radical Roller Rink Emporium of Fun and Dreams later tonight. Self-care is a radically cool thing to do. I'm gonna head out. See you, gang!
Alright, boss, I'll hang here. You go say hi to the last wacky weirdo. Muppet Danny skates off and over to the arcade to find a really fucked up looking feral rat puppet chewing on some wires. It's missing an eye, its little paws look partially crushed. It's tall, its tail is all right angles, and some of its stuffing is pouring out of tears. It looks like 5 coyotes fallen over a puppet while they were trapped in a trash compactor. It is, of course, wearing roller skates.
Hey there, Scabby McFerrell. How are you doing today? Yup, I see you got some wires there to eat. I know how much you just love chewing on wires. Whoa, easy there, fella. Remember, we're all your friends here. Right, kids?
Scabby McFarrell grabs and hugs his wires tight, trying to protect them from the viewers at home as well as Mr. Danny.
I understand that chewing on wires makes you happy, Scabby, and that the electrical charge they send to your underdeveloped teenage rat brain makes you feel safe. But you know what makes me feel happy and safe? Spending time with my friends. Oh, don't say that, Scabby. None of your friends are going to judge you for being addicted to chewing on live wires. We've all done things we regret or feel ashamed of. But what matters is that we learn and grow. That's right! I bet if you took a break from chewing on those electrical wires, all your pals would want to hang out with you. I know I treasure our friendship.
Scabby McFarrell skates off. Mr. Danny turns towards the camera.
Well, kids, I think we had quite another fun day at the Wacky Weirdos Wonderful Pizza Parlor and Radical Roller Rink Emporium of Fun and Metaphysical Treats. This episode of Lessons and Adventures were brought to you by our sponsors, The Dream Machine, and also a marijuana edible I had falling asleep to the Muppet Show. If only helping my friends accept and love themselves was this easy. If I was Kermit, I'd know just what to say to help them confront what's weighing them down.
Awesome.
That's my favorite thing you've ever written for the show. Holy shit.
That's so good.
It also was like super fitting because in the intro, she's making kid stuff like cartoons and mascots and what have you. That's so fun.
Holy shit.
What a weird coincidence there.
You guys were all amazing. Thank you. That was
The rat noises.
a real weird idea.
Yeah, noises are important to me.
I would just listen to this show.
You really nailed the happy growl, sad growl. I really felt like you were in it. Like you were
Yeah.
locked in.
Like how the Mandalorian like can express things with just their helmet. Like,
Yeah.
Oh, perfect.
Beautiful job, everyone. Beautiful job. Thank you. Thank you, my
Alright,
actors.
The name changing and getting longer every time is also
Yeah.
Yeah.
primo.
Flawless.
It took me like 3 or 4 to notice it.
Oh,
Okay.
fun,
Well,
fun.
who wants to go next?
I don't mind going next. It'll be a heel turn.
Yeah, please.
Okay.
That's what we're here for.
I'll be reading all of my lines as the sad side mushroom from now on, though. So that's who I am.
Everyone can add another credit to their IMDb.
Ghosts don't sleep. And so, by extension, ghosts cannot dream. A faraway train of logic that Whistler cannot hope to catch, as Whistler is having a nightmare. Whistler stumbles through a tundra. Hunger hollows out their stomach, and the cold has settled so deeply into their bones they no longer shiver. Every step is a torture, accompanied by the faint crack of knees that would rather succumb to rigidity. A strangled cry worms through Whistler's blue lips as they stumble and the snow swallows them up to their chest. Only then do they realize the snowbanks surrounding them like battlements aren't snow at all, but rabbits. Walls of twisting, twitching snowshoe hairs, alive and supplicant, slumbering with eyes open. Whistler crawls feverishly to the creatures, plucking a rabbit from the masses. They run a trembling, frostbitten digit across the creature's slender underbelly and cannot feel its warmth, or its heartbeat, even as the creature rises and falls with the clear indication of a pulse. Its fur is not soft, not coarse, not matted or thinning. It doesn't feel like anything at all. Whistler bites into the rabbit, rending it with great effort, and they taste nothing. They devour the creature in a fit of panic and feel no fuller, because they've stopped feeling hungry. They feel nothing at all. Whistler awakes with a shout, lying on an Afghan blanket. The sun is deliciously warm on their skin, even as sweat gathers at the nape of their neck, where straw-colored hair clings in the summer balm. They look down at their hands and scratch at a patch of 7-hour itch beneath their left wrist. In their daze, Whistler is only faintly aware of the shuffle of fabric that is Dale coming to take a knee beside them, a hand coming to rest on their shoulder. Whistler can smell sunblock and a film of charcoal from the grill that Danny recently bought for the Grove. Dale laughs and says something in a soothing sort of tone one employs to settle a startled animal, but the words don't quite reach.
His smile reaches his eyes, which are bright and not tired, and he is so happy to see you, Whistler. Dale could never be afraid of you. He's your best friend. He loves you.
Danny is sitting on a separate picnic blanket, teaching Jerry and Lucas how to make a paper fortune teller. Lucas squints in the harsh sunlight and fishes through his laptop case for a pair of sunglasses to shield his gray eyes.
Lucas lets people teach him things, and isn't afraid to admit when he doesn't know something. He takes care of himself. None of you have failed him. He loves you.
Danny attempts to wave Whistler over to read their future, but the fortune teller contains only menu items from the Queen Anchovy's Revenge.
You're not excluded from meals with your friends. Danny loves you.
Brittany is flipping burgers, asking a very human Mark to re-explain something he read in Scientific American. The siblings flash you a grin and a wave before returning to their conversation.
They approve of you, Whistler. There are no monsters here. They love you.
Dolly and Winnie arrive at the picnic with pitchers of sangria and a Bluetooth speaker. Dolly greets everyone with warmth and charm before bounding towards Whistler and pulling them into a dance.
Dolly doesn't need therapy anymore, and the Grove is a haven. She loves you. And all of them love you, Whistler. Do you?
That's it.
So sad.
Damn, dude.
It was
It was
happy,
so
but it
good.
was it was happy in a sad way. It was happy in a way that made me sad. Because
Wow.
it's
Everything's
sad.
fine now. Everything's okay.
The last interlude for Whistler either has to be so like of a heel turn and is actually happy, or so clearly Whistler is about to die.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whistler might be the main villain in Campaign 3. Or Lucas. Lucas could also be the main villain in Campaign 3, to be honest.
I would be more sad if it was Lucas, because Lucas is like
A child?
Like
and
a
not
young
responsible
adult.
Yeah,
for
yeah,
his
19.
decisions.
He's young and impressionable.
yeah,
Yeah.
like it would suck
Which-
to watch someone with the rest of their life in front of them become the villain.
Which means we're still in the origin story of his life, though. So,
True.
like,
Anything can happen.
yeah. Now, if there was a time for him to go villain mode, that would be the time.
Hey, I gotta sneak something fucked up into Lucas's brain so that we can make that happen. But anyways, Dale, Soren, did you want that music the entire time?
Yeah.
Cool. Let me know when you're ready. And do I have lines this time?
No, but
Okay.
so
I had to check now.
so the first line is Dale's eyes burst open to the needle drop. So the needle drop is the song kicking in. Dale's
Well, fuck.
Explain what he did.
I was adjusting the levels and it just went off.
Beautiful.
All right.
Sorry.
Great rehearsal. Great rehearsal.
The outtakes
Like,
for
that's
this
in a
episode are
millisecond.
going to rule.
It was so good.
Okay.
Dale's eyes burst open to the needle drop of an everywhere you look style intro theme sequence. He slides down the banister of the staircase, zooming past his newly retired Grave Watch father, Adam Templeton. Spilling the coffee in his hand, Dale throws his hands up and his dad wags his fingers. The 90s intro sequence cuts to Dale putting his Grave Watch branded backpack on and stepping into the big building marked Grave Watch HQ in big letters. Everyone bows to Dale as he saunters through the office and shoots finger guns at his cousins and brothers and sisters. He tries to get them to stop bowing, but they just love him too much. Dale opens the door to his brand spanking new office, the sign on the door reading Dale Kent, great-grandfather of the Grave Watch, and he sits behind a comically growing stack of papers in his to-do box, until Mark, Dale's brother and secretary, enters accompanied by Bela Lugosi's Dracula with a letter signed from the monsters. The letter says, "We all got together and agreed to stop doing the killing and the hurting. All the monsters double dog promised that it was yucky and we don't like it anymore. But considering, however, that you are financially reliant on us, we will keep up enough of a ruckus to keep you in business. Hugs and kisses, the bad guys." Dale throws the papers in his to-do basket into the trash and celebrates the news with Mark, calling over to the Templeton family home where Britt picks up in an identical office. They all laugh too, everywhere you look. A call comes in on the phone. It's from Dale's mom, Jolene. She's calling from Paris, where she now travels for fun and calls him every day to tell him what museum she went to that day. Britt poofs into the split screen in Paris with Mom, and they both teleport poof into Dale's office, the Mom and Dale still holding the phones. They laugh to the constantly looping, "Whatever happened to respectability?" Dale shakes the Dracula's hand and calls to the office next door where Danny, head of vampire relations, works. Danny shows him the letter and tells him he can take an indefinite all-expenses-paid vacation. They decide they have to tell Lucas too, so they go to There's a heart, hold on to the apartment upstairs, where Dr. Jekyll opens the door. Everywhere you, with his roommate, Lucas. Look, everywhere you. They all laugh and laugh, walking down the stairs into the Grave Watch Performing Arts Center, where they watch, as they do every night, Whistler's all-ghost theater ensemble's rendition of Mrs. Doubtfire, a Dale Kent favorite. At the end, Quincy walks up onto center stage and says they're sorry. Dale gives Quincy a big hug and they all go outside, where Jerry has already laid out picnic tables full of Manchego-based cuisine. Everyone sits down to eat while Dale, like every night, checks all the faces around him to make sure that everyone's still there. There's Adam, Jolene, Britt, Mark, Whistler, Lucas, Danny, Quincy, Jekyll, Jennifer Lawrence, the Gumbaroo, those weird Fae guys, the horse from Lord of the Rings, Jerry, Dolly, Bigfoot, Flash Gordon, Ronald Reagan, everyone from the Mighty Ducks, the guy who kicks out Ronald Reagan, a newly reformed Keanu Reeves, and Matty Jung. The gang's all here. As the "Where You Look" fades, Dale takes a bouquet centerpiece from the table, walking into the grass outside Gravewatch HQ that he's now in charge of like a big strong man. He looks up at the statue of himself and places the bouquet of flowers in front of a headstone that reads, Dr. Peter Maskell, herein entombed after he died of bitchface. Dale smiles at the sunset and his friends and the statue again, then at the Jesus/Paula Abdul in the sky above him. He waves at Jesus Abdul and knows that all is right in the world, hoping and knowing that tomorrow will be much the same as today. And would you believe it? It is. Over and over and over again. PT would likely never admit it, but even his systems have their limits. Dale plunges deep into fantasy, refusing to leave, living the same... Dale plunges deep into fantasy, refusing to leave, living the same blissful day over and over until the servers overheat. The fantasy starts to falter, small ways at first. When Dale bumps into his newly retired Gravewash father and spills the coffee, Adam stopped playfully wagging his finger and started screaming in pain, blaming Dale for not being more careful, badly burned. Dale still dwelled in fantasy. He stayed when Whistler stopped performing Mrs. Doubtfire and started playing cats. When Danny stabbed Bela Lugosi and the monsters rebelled, and Lucas turned Jackal into a summons, and Dr. Maskell came back as a zombie, he still stayed in fantasy. Finally, Dale sits alone at a picnic table meant for so many, the rest of the simulation gone haywire and distorted. The only things left being him, Jerry, and a Manchego pizza. He takes a bite, breathes, looks at the Jesus Abdul, and Dale still smiles, hoping tomorrow he'll do better than he did today.
I did not time that music, but that was perfect.
I was excited that we had 2 picnics in a row, but this one also got sad.
I loved that. I love Jesus Abdul. That was pretty important to me.
I enjoy the sort of kid show theme that's happening, or like the Family Network stuff that's going on right now, because it makes perfect sense for what's happening in Destiny's brain.
Mm-hmm. Definitely the vibe of like the childhood perspective of like even adults when they make friends, they never like spread out to live their own lives.
Mm-hmm.
They will stay together forever, you know?
Yeah.
It does kind of feel like too that we're like the networking is maturing. Like it started out like very kid show, and then it kind of was like middle school, and this felt like very like Boy Meets World now.
Mm-hmm.
Like the viewership is getting older.
Lucas, take us to high school, I think.
We see Lucas lying in bed. The leather eye patch given to him by Danny rests on the nightstand next to an assortment of phones. All but one are in various states of disrepair. On a desk across from his bed, 2 computers run automated programs searching for and removing as much information about his group as they can. One from the public eye, and the other browsing darker corners. Suddenly, the piece is disturbed by a buzzing noise as the undamaged phone turns on. Slowly, a black and red hand creeps out. Attached to an arm far too slim and far too long to match. It slowly reaches out towards the sleeping Lucas. Silently and gently, it shakes him awake. Lucas's eyes open, and for some reason they just can't adjust to the darkness. He snaps his fingers, and the hand obeys. The lights are all turned on, and the shades open, and just as he remembered, an extravagant room. Wooden floors, 2 wall-sized glass windows overlooking the lake, complete with a hidden bookcase door to his tech room. He gets out of bed and looks at himself in the mirror. He's viewed from the right so you can see the side profile of both him and his reflection. He moves his pointer finger along the mirror as if scrolling through a character editor. He smiles and snaps his fingers. Once again, the hand obeys. Lucas, now rocking a 6-pack and a tan, dresses himself in a fine suit. Lucas leaves his room and turns right down a long hallway. Danny is already awake and on the couch playing some video games. Or perhaps he never went to bed by the fact that Jerry is asleep with a controller in his hand. Danny turns his head towards Lucas and opens his mouth wide. Far too wide to be natural, but no sound comes out. Lucas simply replies as if nothing was strange. "Oh yeah, sure. I don't mind making breakfast." He snaps his fingers, and the hand obeys. Coffee, beer, and cold pizza summoned. Whistler walks out of their room, phasing through the door before taking solid form. Their mouth opens wide. Too wide, and no sound is heard. "Yeah, I'll help you read lines later." Lucas turns his head to the hand. "Remind me this evening, I'm helping Whistler rehearse for an audition." And the hand obeys. Lucas steps out the front door, sees Dale walking towards a Jeep with the top off. He shouts out to Dale, "Hey, if you're grabbing Britt and Mark, can you stop by the airport on the way back? Quincy's coming back from their vacation." There's no response. "Hey, can't you hear me? Can you hear me? Why can't you hear me? Make him hear me!" And the hand obeys. Except it doesn't. It hasn't. Every time it took a piece, and now there's nothing left. Lucas wakes in a tent in a cold sweat. He opens his phone, looking at the number for the Flint and Steel Foundation. His finger once again hovers over the send button, and they close their phone and cry themselves back to sleep.
And when they do, we pan across everybody, shifting and turning, with various smiles and frowns in their sleep. We pan over to the solar panels, looking so longingly at the moon for just the faintest scrap of light. And on them, looking with great big eyes, tears streaming down their face, is Destiny, who now looks to be about 16 years old. And she reaches for the sky, though nothing emerges from the panels, and the machine turns off.